she's not just a broadcasting legend, she's also a creative and a technical director and a producer of note. And I've had the privilege of working with Anne on a number of
don't brag all the time. I have also worked with her.
And then the most delicious Miss Vicky Sampson is joining us from Cape Town, and we're going to be talking to her about her concert that's coming up on the 23rd of September.
Exactly.
And everything else she does. She's also most dynamically known as a cultural activist. And speaking of cultural activism, the president of I'm for the Arts,
yes,
Mr. Bongile Ngoma.
Bongi
is going to be joining us from Bloemfontein.
Yeah.
I was to find out that she's moved down there, and she is now in charge of the Free State Youth, I beg your pardon, the University of the Free State's choir.
So, yes. Well, there we go.
So that's,
And I've worked with both of them.
Yeah, we've worked with both of them.
Always trying to outdo me. I'm tired of this.
I'm so tired of it. You're such a grumpy old thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen. So what's up? What quirky news can you give us tonight,
this isn't so quirky, but on Friday, everybody, the entertainment world, was rocked by the shocking news that the Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman passed away from cancer. The talented actor, playwright, and producer kept his 4-year battle with colon cancer a secret, and continued to film a number of projects while he underwent treatment. According to a statement on his social media accounts, Boseman was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016, which eventually progressed to stage 4 before 2020. He died at his home of complications related to colon cancer on the 28th of August with his wife and family by his side. He's 43 years old, and condolences go out to the family. May he rest in peace. Amazing man.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Monavalis is coming in the parliament, as you all know.
Yeah.
But I can tell you something really made me laugh. There's I'm not sure if this person is legit. I must be honest. I did actually try and find out. But somebody wrote an open letter to Natim Twetwa, so-called Minister of SAC, right?
Yeah. Sports, arts, and culture.
They could refer to him as the Minister of Condolences and Congratulations. Anyway, I don't know if it's actually funny, but you know what?
No,
I mean, we'll talk to Sibongile and Ngoma about interaction with the minister if she's ever managed to ever meet with him.
She did.
Did she?
Yeah. It was live streamed as well. There's a whole drama.
Yeah, I think I tell you something that the advocacy that Bongi and many others have been putting into the arts business and arts industry to try and get us back up is just absolutely amazing. So
phenomenal. That's incredible.
We thank our brave champions.
And women.
Yes, and women. Yeah.
To take females to do
tell
this.
You don't underestimate chicks, eh?
You're allowed to call them chicks, Chair.
Oh, Lord, I can't cope anymore, you know.
I don't know what we're allowed to call anybody.
Yes, I mean, but anyway, we know that we have a great relationship with our ladies, and they know us very well, I think. But anyway, anybody's offended, please, it's really not our intention.
Yeah.
And so, have you heard about the first Pride train?
I did, actually. It sounds amazing.
So, commuters in the UK can, for the very first time, enjoy traveling in a unique Pride train wrapped in the Pride flag and crewed by an all LGBTQ plus staff.
Can you imagine what that is like?
Well, the iconic 265 meters long Pendolino's train, Pendolino's train has 11 carriages and operated by Avanti West Coast. It's painted with a progressive pride flag, which includes not only the traditional 6-colored rainbow flag colors, but also black and brown stripes to represent the LGBTQ communities of color, and pink, light blue, and white from the transgender flag. I mean, I don't.
They keep adding letters onto that acronym. You know, if you see LGBT, then it's QIST. Well, whatever.
You know, and I mean, I understand certain people needing to have that kind of differentiation, but I mean, I think you and I have both spent our whole life fighting against labeling. You know what I mean? So, anyway,
what it is.
It is what it is. So the Pride train was launched on Tuesday and will run all year round, celebrating the diversity of the communities it serves. The company says it took the decision to create the train after COVID-19 forced the cancellation of Pride events around the country, which it has planned to support. But I mean, now, aren't there like, I heard a word, Jim Acosta on the CNN today said something about, when you bring everybody together and you're super spreading. Oh, yes. And it made me chuckle.
Super spreading.
Yeah, this weekend or last week, Donald Trump had this whole on the lawn at the South Lawn at the White House, and there was a whole uproar about that too. But then they were talking about super spreading. The last time I knew about super spreading is the atrocities I saw in the dark hole in the club there. 40 they came to. Yeah. Anyway, it trust me to be bad.
So I think, it would be fantastic to get Lady Gaga on the train, because remember she had that 4 outfit change in 2019 at the Met Gala on the red carpet. She changed 4 times. Well, that pales in comparison to her show-stopping 9 looks at the MTV Music Awards, which took place on Sunday night.
Well, I can hope she's got dresses, because
I don't know what she does with her clothes. Yeah. Where's her wardrobe? I wonder what happened to that meat dress. But yeah. Everybody was styled, each one of them was styled with his own quirky and totally off-the-wall face marks. Never to be outdone, all eyes were on Gaga at the Hollywood return of the red carpet on Sunday. And despite scooping most of the awards on the night, Gaga's Corona chic looks was the real winner of the night. You must see the outfits. They are unbelievable. They're really fantastic.
Hopefully soon we'll be able to put this on our radio vlog.
Yes.
And then we can put all these things up and links to these articles.
Yeah, I think.
Unless, of course, we've got to pay 40 money for it.
Exactly. And today in 1897, here we go, fact of the day, Thomas Edison completed the patent for his world's first movie projector. Today, huh? Yeah. 1987. That's a long time ago.
You mean 18?
I mean 1897. You know me in a figure. I must be dyslexic. Maybe I'm dyslexic as well as diabetic.
I think you got the Zuma disease.
Huh? Zuma disease. Oh, yeah. 49,000 million billion. Yeah.
Okay. 51.
51. Yeah.
Anyway, talking about the ANC, there's been a bit of a roaring going on. There's Zuma, the Ainster Zuma writing Mr. Ramaphosa a letter.
Yeah.
But the latest news is that
can he write?
Well, I suppose he's got a scribe.
Yeah.
That's he must have been, because when we were at the Playhouse, he was the MEC for Finance and Transport.
Yeah,
so
that's really
something. Is the ANC pushing for a third alcohol ban? One wonders.
Well, it was. Who knows? Hey, who knows?
Well, the Democratic Alliance has been reliably informed that there is a strong lobby within the ANC by certain ministers to reintroduce another ban on alcohol as soon as possible.
Well.
So this is a heads up, girlfriends. Go and get your Dora stocked. You never know; they might just change it on Sunday. Anyway, talking about those kind of matters, I just want to alert the community to the fact that there's a blood drive starting for spring, starting tomorrow at Campus Square in the Dischem Court, at any weekday between 10 and 5 p.m., 10 a.m. and 5 p.m., and on the weekends from 10 to 3. Please go and donate blood. The silly season's coming. They need to get the larder stocked.
Yeah. Talking about blood, Princess Diana was petrified of traveling without her own blood. Did you know that?
Yeah, but I think they all do that.
Yeah, so she stored her own blood in case of medical emergency or threat of attack. According to the Royal's former private secretary, Patrick Jeffson, Diana would transport a fridge load of her own blood on every trip abroad, as she was afraid of unwarranted attack would leave her in grave danger. She also got her entire entourage always to be tested for their blood types, should the need arise for her needing an emergency transfusion. It's quite amazing, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I think with all the royals travel with
Probably have.
everything they need.
Yeah.
The whole
Blood.
ship. Of,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't save the poor dear, and we
Yeah.
still miss old Diana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Anne Williams quickly, and then I think you should have a quick music break.
Yeah, why not?
And then we're going to. I think we've got a real sassy number for the girls tonight. But Anne Williams is an incredible broadcasting personality. And she has 40 years' experience in television production direction, and is a familiar name in the South African arts and entertainment industry. She is the recipient of 2 Arties Awards, 2 Star Tonight Awards, an NTVA Award, and 10 other television award nominations. She was a finalist in the 2019 Liberty Radio Awards. So we're going to be hooking up to Anne in just a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break, and then we have a little. I almost said let's take a quick smoke
break. Wouldn't that be nice?
No, but the song's not long enough, darling. You're going to have to wait for later. Okay, here we go with Barry White. Can't get enough of your love, baby.
Me too. No, I understand it.
Yeah.
Councilman Lindy.
So do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hey?
Right.
I want to
Okay.
sing on air.
You want to sing on air?
Yellow babe. Yeah.
Please don't do that, darling. You're much better with choreography. I can't do the choreography. Anyway, let's talk a bit more about Anne, and hopefully she'll be joining us in just a few minutes. Anne is a multi-camera director, a producer, and television consultant, mainly in the entertainment genre, and is considered one of the most experienced television professionals in South Africa. Her career has spanned from pioneering SABC test transmissions to present-day worldwide live broadcasts. Her scope of experience includes music events, award shows, variety specials, game shows, dance, and theatre. Her fields of expertise are concept generation, production planning, associate direction, executive production, live and studio television multi-camera direction. That's quite a handful, eh?
Yeah.
I can tell you something. I've managed to be able. I worked with Anne on an Obi band more than once, eh? And I can tell you she hoys. She knows how to hoy. And there she is. Hello, darling.
Hi. Have you got lipstick on?
Oh, especially for you, Mark.
Oh, good. There we go. There we go.
Filled in.
So I hear, what did Trevor say? Something. You used to test the test pattern.
As I was listening to that, I thought, my God, I'm a dinosaur.
Hey, what did you used to? I remember us watching the neighbors' TV when the test pattern came up because we didn't have a TV. We used to go quickly eat our dinner and then run next door.
To do that too.
Yeah.
But I can tell you something. I got a little dark secret. My father quite fancied Anne Williams. She used to be a talking head on one of the channels.
Oh, God.
SABC One. Yeah. He had a complete love affair with her and Dorian Berry. Do you remember her?
Dorian.
No, but there's my girlfriend, my father would say. And all these years later, here I am talking to the legend herself.
Yeah.
And having worked with her a couple of times. So, hello, and thanks for joining our show
Yes.
tonight.
Absolute pleasure.
Sorry about
two friends.
Monday. Yeah. Last Monday, sorry, there was technical stuff. But we got you back. Yes. The beauty of live radio.
Yeah, well, that's an area for you every day and at this moment in time. But anyway, tell us what's going on.
Well, when I heard you saying that, so I was getting these right, about your dad, it was always the case. It was always somebody's father, Never the guys you really wanted to attract. But it was very charming. It was that or people's children that liked your voice and you could put them to sleep and things like that. Yeah. But live radio every day. I work on another station at the moment. Yeah, but I think, we're creatures that live in this medium of television and radio and stage, and what a blessing that you can do all of them, and they're all interlock. They're all very special, and we of a generation that we're able to do that. We were able to do that, so I'm very blessed to have been able to do it all.
But you've been wonderfully blessed in that you've been, a bit like myself. I've worked on stage, backstage, and off stage. You know what I mean? And you've done in front of camera and behind camera. I mean. And how did you? I mean, did you actually start as a continuity announcer on SABC, or did you have a career before that?
No, I didn't, Trevor. In fact, test transmissions hadn't really begun, and they were recruiting. The SABC was out there recruiting to start this new television service. So that's exactly what they did. They came around to all the universities. They wanted people who had degrees, which in hindsight really wasn't necessary, but that was what they figured it was. So, and I applied and I came to Johannesburg, did a couple of interviews, and plus I did have a boyfriend who was in Johannesburg at the time, so it was kind of nice.
Yeah, nice. Very nice.
And that's what I did. And I started on a training course, which was, as I say, before television, it was a year before. So we were trained by the BBC, which was a 4-month kind kind of tests. There were three a year. I think I was the fourth or the fifth course. I'm not too sure. They divided us into production. They divided us into technical. And off we went. And we did test transmissions and little programs. And I was associated with Bill Forer. I was his PS. And we did all sorts of band things with his younger brother at that stage.
Sorry, what is PS?
Secretary.
Oh, private secretary.
Production secretary.
Oh, production. Okay. Sorry, I'm learning all these terms, you know.
Production secretary. And what you did as a production secretary, you were everything to the producer. They used to call them producers, or the same, now it's a director, but we were following the BBC standard. So that was to be a producer, because in fact, nowadays, a producer is the person who's the SABC or the big money, and then you're the director. But in those days, we were called producers. So I was the right-hand woman to Bill and also to Ken, Kirsten. And you did everything. You typed the script, you did the budget, you did the schedules. Once you'd done all that, you got everybody and you organized everyone, did all that production, then you would sit in the box and you would call the camera shots, which was a typed out script, methodically. Shot 1 follows shot 2, shot 3, descriptions and that sort of thing. And that's how I trained. I became a production secretary. And then years later, I became an assistant producer, which notched you up a bit. And you gave the production secretary all the stuff to do, and then I eventually became a producer. So to answer your question about the continuity announcing, that was running parallel with it. I happened to be sitting in the studio, I think we were doing Pop Shop or something one day. Or I don't know what, maybe I was doing a training.
Yeah.
Oh, you and that hottie, Carl Kakillis. No,
it was actually David Gresham.
David Gresham. David Gresham.
And you could see into all the other studios. There was something called Reader Fusion. You'd dial up on a screen what was going on in the rest of the building. It was a form of spying, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that something was happening in Final Control, and they were running auditions for presenters. And a friend of mine, Jamie Spence, you may remember the late Joyce Stewart Spence, and her son Jamie was there. And anyway, I said, come on, let's go and have a shot at it. Found it where it was. I sat myself down and I said, all right, I'll have an audition as a presenter. Blow me down and I got the job. So
I'm not surprised. You did graduate from Rhodes with a drama degree in English. Exactly, yes.
And that's how I became a continuity announcer. So I used to work during the day as a production secretary, and then I whipped down to makeup, get myself all done up and sit down in front of a TV, in front of a camera. No auto cues or anything like that, in a little Final Control area. And be a presenter. And those were the days, you may remember, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. First half from 6 to 8:30 was English.
And then
Afrikaans. And then the swap around. So I was on a Wednesday, which was English first. And Dorian was Monday.
I distinctly remember a blonde bob of sorts.
You're so right. And then it became like that at one stage. And I had a scarf. I used to be quite into scarves.
Yes.
You have a birdie ever?
They were knotted here on the top of your neck, and then I remember them very clearly. Yeah, yes, I remember so clearly.
And they didn't give you clothing allowance. You had to wear your own clothing.
Do you know, I remember Janice Harriman, because I was chatting with her one day about Bangalore time she used to do, and she told me the same thing. They weren't given a clothing allowance at all. Those were all their own kaftans.
And dungarees. I remember dungarees.
Yeah.
We would the makeup was really very festive, and I remember Janice very, very well from then. And it was lovely. It was an amazing building in those early days, because there was a props section, there was a set building division, fantastic milliners. Just an extraordinary production house.
But both Mark and I have experienced that at the theatres, the big opera houses that we've had the privilege of working in. We did a production set in 17 foot and then suddenly the hats would come and
the wigs and the wigs and real stuff. Oh God,
It makes one a little sad, but
times do change,
And so then you just sort of climbed the ladder. The kind of from production secretary, you just started climbing the ladder, And and then what happened then after that? I mean, you worked with Bill for a long time.
I did. I was originally landed in. I did work with Ray because I was, in those days they used to divide it up. It was for skate night and variety. So never the twain would meet. So we were light entertainment. So another what we call that. So we were doing all the music shows, and then there were little units. So you would be a production secretary with Ken Kirsten. I started actually off with Lewis Manny. There was a comedy show called Biltong and Pot Roast. That was the first thing.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then I did Pop Shop with Ken, and I was Ken's PS for a long time. And I also would then be farmed out to Bill when he wasn't doing his documentaries or his dramas or anything. He was doing spectaculars. And I would, many of them entertainment ones, like the Arties Awards or any of those sort of things. And I would work with Bill. And that relationship continued when he left the SABC. I would take leave from the SABC. I had a very lenient boss who was very kind and said, all right, you can go off and do it. Because it's to their advantage if you're going to do a big show like that because you're gaining experience. So I was very lucky. I don't think it was easy in those days for women, and I'm not banging the old boring drum about that. But, being English, and a bit outspoken, I suppose. So it was a little difficult sometimes. And it was always the men.
You mean the road scholars have always been cheeky, darling.
and the blokes got the job, really. They're the ones that always got promoted. The women didn't. But then I had a couple of really marvelous bosses, and the late, great Jerry Bosman was really my salvation. And he was the one who guided me and led me. So that's how I got up the... You know something. I have to say something, Trevor. I really didn't consciously go, right, this is a career move, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go. No, it was never that. It was just about doing the job, having a ball. We had a wonderful time. I had 20 years of fantastic shows.
A lot of my career was also like that, being in the right place at the right time and being able to do something that nobody else could at the time. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. And I mean, we're working at the Arts Councils. I can't begin to tell you how I felt the day when I got cornered in the passage and told that because I'd sight read Lohengrin at a half an hour's notice as a stage manager, that the general director wanted to appoint me to the opera department, and I was going, no, but I'm from Joburg, and weeks later I was living in Bloemfontein. It's just the way it works. Anyway.
But we worked on Miss South Africa. Was it Miss South Africa?
Yeah.
Okay, at Sun City.
We did.
And I mean, it was huge. And the company, just Playhouse, or was it Flying Fish? I can't remember. Flying Fish. Yeah, the company when we were all retrenched and we started Flying Fish. And I mean, that was the most incredible experience because I remember you coming down to Durban. We were rehearsing in Durban, and there was no internet those days, so we couldn't do it live. You know what I mean? Live streaming and all that stuff. And coming down and go, okay, camera angle here. It was our first time ever doing like a big TV show with the full company, and we had puppets and we had an underwater scene. Remember, sea snakes and fish and gosh, my memory. But is it Jean Bierkes or somebody wrote the music? And it was like in 7s and 12s and 8s and 9s and whatever. And because we had all done the rehearsals, you maybe go sit in the Obi van and you were going to count the music behind me so that I know when, I can't just concentrate on camera. To go, camera 2, go, camera. And I'd be watching it, and I'd just go 7, 8, 9. What are they doing? Like, 12. So why did 2? And it was like such an eye opener to actually see what goes on behind the scene. Do you know what I mean? It's like
that's a busy little truck, I can tell you.
Yes. And then the models came, or the contestants, and somebody had decided they were going to polish the floor during the break. Remember? And as it came on, it go whoops and ups and down. No, cut the camera too. And it's like, what's going on? And then cut your ad break. And then we had to take Coca-Cola and throw it over the floor because somebody had polished the whole stage. Oh, it just historical. So
and was that your production? I remember it so well.
Yes.
And you know the extraordinary thing when you're in an Obi van like that, you have selective hearing. You hear the things you need to hear at the right time. But somewhere you hear a little voice going, "Oh my God!" And you, what? And you're still going, and you're still going. And what do you mean? What am I? What was that? And then
it's like this girl trying to get
when you talk about those calamities, I suppose we've just got to spill the beans on the time that I rugby tackled the photographer.
Please tell the tale in the Mozambique.
I was the stage director for a production called Morja Africa in Maputo, and Anne was in the band as the director, and also one of the producers of the event, and we were in the performance, and they were shooting live in front of thousands and thousands of Mozambicans in St. Michel Square. And I look up and I've got one set of cans on this ear and another set of cans. I'm going, Loosh, bash, loosh. I can't see anybody in the transmission monitor. And on the side, I've got the camera truck. And the next minute, I look up and I see somebody in the shot. And I go, Nancy, and I tuck the candle, and I dive bombed this man right off the stage. Okay? I did. Can I just tell you, we had a whole lot of Butch Afrikaans cameramen and crew. Afterwards in the bar, they were buying me Dosh M saying, we can't believe you did that.
It was so fast, Mark, that when we went into editing, or we got the video, I had to slow it down to find which frame he was in. There's Trevor, there he isn't, gone. He was so fast. It was very impressive.
We decided to go at the same time. Yeah. Remember, and we landed up on the square, and we came and saw you in the Obi van. Yeah, with Robert Whitehead. We decided for 4 days after we come. We're going, and they were busy. We were staying at the Polana, which was they were getting it ready for the 2020. What was happening?
2020 now.
The rugby or whatever, World Cup something. Yeah. So it was like a construction site. So we got a really good deal. And Robert was actually grew up part of his life. He grew up in Maputo because his father was an ambassador. And so it was like to go back and discover where he lived again, and those tuk-tuks or whatever they were, And then you guys were on that square, and we came and it was so hot, I remember. It was just sweat.
We sweat a lot. Hey? I mean, there's a photograph somewhere of me sitting on the day they were checking out, and obviously we had a bit of a patsy the night before, but it was working on that stage, and I was up and down the stage the whole day. They still got to sit in the camera truck a bit with the aircon.
Aircon, yeah.
And I used to take 3 changes of clothing per day. Shower and dress in the morning, breakfast, go to the stage, then lunch, shower, dress, and so 3 times a day I do that routine because I was schwitzy. Anyway, but there's a photograph of me sitting in the Pascana Hotel foyer waiting for the shuttle to the airport, and I've got these tissues just stuck all over my face. And it's running off me. I mean, it's just disgusting. And so, darling, what is coming? Do you have plans? What's going on?
What are you up to?
Stuff.
Well, we've got a university quiz, haven't we, Trevor?
Yeah, well, yeah. Where are we? Well, that's another one.
What we're working on, that's something else. That's in the future.
Yeah. That's for the future.
That's for the future. I wait to see what pops up. I think we're all in a nasty sort of phase of our careers. It was always a bit funny before. It was difficult before lockdown. It's 100 times worse now. So very little. No, bits and bobs. I'm doing my radio, doing development stuff. I'm doing some training, all of those things. And I keep thinking, well, maybe this is what it's supposed to be. Maybe we're supposed to be winding down, but we're not the kind of people that wind down. I can't wind down. I have to be doing something. So at the moment, radar. That's what I'm doing.
Well, I'm going to tell you something there again. I mean, and we might as well just... We 10 years ago, prior to me joining AFTA as registrar, Anne and I conceived a new university-targeted quiz,
Yeah.
which is, I would say, the hybrid between University Challenge and Mastermind, but specifically with South African universities. And 16 of the 23 universities qualified to be participants, since they all have common faculties. And so, we're quite advanced with that now, and we'll hopefully be playing the game live in the first quarter of 2021.
Sounds like an amazing project. And yeah, it's just
that's the first time it's gone out on the air ever, darling. Do you know that?
Oh, so I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, don't worry.
Darling, we love telling gossip here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Letting the cat out. Let the cat out.
I don't think it's going to do any harm. No, it's very, very good stuff, and I've got great hopes for it. And I do also. Last year, well, yes, in fact, we started shooting. It was actually almost a year ago. I was involved in the Pursuit of Jazz, which was a fascinating project, which was James Bassingthwaite, as well as Emirates, the lovely James. And it started off as this for video play, and I went around the country with some wonderful chaps shooting all this wonderful talent. It was a talent search, and to find the best jazz band. And it was an extraordinary experience. And, you always learn something new, not just only musically necessarily, but the stuff that you have known all along, that other people haven't ever realized. And at the same time, I was surrounded by some wonderfully young, exciting people that lifted my spirit. So that was an exceptionally good project to work on. And I'd love to be doing that again. And then, but of course, what's happened, we went into lockdown, so hopefully something will come of that again. Repeat.
Well, absolutely. I mean, as soon as it was, I think lockdown had just been announced, and I went, before we even started Grumpy Old Homers, and I phoned Anne. I said, you know what? Well, let's give this another bash.
Yeah.
And so 10 years later, it just goes to prove that a creative idea actually never really dies, and so you can, get it back and try again. And we got quite far with it last time, and we had a corporate sponsor that was trying to buy it. But anyway, so now we're going to hoy it again. We're going to see what's going to happen.
And I've been through, well, not through it all, but
through it all.
Yeah, it's like every day it's like I've got to do this and this and so demanding, and now but
it's talking about
but it's I think it's an incredible project, and please God it all comes to fruition.
Mark, when you were sorry, I've interrupted you.
Carry on.
Okay. When Mark was talking about us doing Miss South Africa and we went down to Durban, it was a very deliberate move not to do everything in Johannesburg and use only South African things, because we felt that, and when we did those shows, they were always meant to be an artistic interpretation of stuff. We didn't just go girls up, down, walk up and down to Prince's whatever and out. We actually had concepts, and that when you're talking about the fish and all that sort of thing, that was the swimwear thing. But we had Greg King's puppets.
Yes, and that was the launch of the new coat of arms.
It was Andrew Boyd.
We had the fish puppet, and I still don't know what it is.
Yes.
What they're calling.
They were very well themed, and we wanted the country to see the spread of talent that was around, and that's why we went to Durban to work with you and to bring everybody up.
And that was such an incredible experience for us and gave us a lot of exposure for the new company. But also, wasn't Vicky Sampson on that show? Because we did something at Sun City with Vicky.
Yeah.
And that's where I met her.
Yes.
And I'm sure she was one of the artists. And we've got Vicky on later.
Yes. I'll be listening. There was an incredible... I remember the most magnificent opening sequence. I think it was Vicky.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I don't know what year. Actually, I'll have to look up what year it was. When do you think it was?
Oh my God, you mean a number, darling? No, it was, I was thinking
We'll still be driving the
1684.
breakfast show.
Oh gosh.
Anyway,
No, but I mean, you've had an incredible career, and I'm sure also you still have, like all of us. But this kind of whole lockdown, COVID, has kind of, well, I don't know, put a spanner in the works, but also other things have come out of it, But
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we've had the time to rekindle Uniquiz, and grumpy old Homos came out of COVID. It was either that or black mantillas for a couple of people.
Yeah, leaving a lot of people in debt with our wills and things.
What will? You have a will?
I don't have a will, actually. No. I've got away.
This is a true story.
Anyway.
So, darling, we're going to say thank you for so much for coming on and sharing our final Women's Day or Women's Month special with us.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute honor to have you on the broadcasting and obviously that golden voice that takes me back to my childhood always.
And your father's childhood.
my father's wandering.
You know who my father, I'm sorry, Anne, but my father used to love Diane Chandler. And every time she came on, like one of those variety shows, like Nicky Nacky New Show, what were those things called?
Yeah.
My dad's brother, also rest in peace, used to phone and say, "Hey Thomas, the racehorse is on." Oh God! So we'd switch over to whatever. What was it? Nicky Nacky New? I mean,
the Nicky Nacky New Show.
Nicky Nacky New. Yeah. Oh gosh, those are amazing days.
In those early days as well, they would build shows around big names. So, or they would get a series. So there was Judy Page,
the
all of those, and then there was a series called, as you said, Something Old, Something New, which was Ray. And then sort of later years, we did the Portrait of series. And Ken did some and I did some, and those were very successful as well. But there was an era where those really magnificently, fantastically big shows were done in the studio, where you could have excessive sets and spend days with heron cranes going up and down and doing, I mean, we were talking about it just the other day, The Ancient Mariner was Ken directed. Yeah, remember, it was a South African written thing. Michael York was the narrator. It was the most fabulous. It's a musical.
But even the radio dramas and the early television dramas, one that stands out explicitly is when Amanda Stratham played the most incredible role in 1920. I think it was an Afrikaans production, but it was just the most. It swept me away into a land that didn't know existed, and it was just so amazing.
Well, and Afrikaans was also Willem. Remember Toby Cornier?
Yeah.
And then also the late Maverde van der Merwe, she put on all of those variety shows as well. Do you remember those things? There was.
Is there an archive? I mean, where is all this exist?
Cloudy sold it to Mnet.
Is it?
Yeah.
You could, we've gone. I've been looking. I did one of the very first Jaluka specials, and when Johnny passed last year, there was a French documentary company here that were looking for material, and I said, "Look, I've got not there." When he passed, I actually said, "It's there. I've got a VHS of it." And I was stupid enough not to make a master copy. I've got a VHS of it, not there.
No, it's all gone.
So it's either there or it's unfindable.
But I recall a story about some finagling going on between Claudie Motsoeneng and Gwys Becker and that lot at what do they call it? Mnet, multi-choice or something like that. And I think he sold the archive for about 500 million rand or something like that. Yeah. And suppose, that's where it is. So hopefully, I know.
Well, I wish it would. There was a channel, I don't know what it's called, Golden something, I've forgotten now, one of the channels. And you can tune in and watch some old stuff. To my horror, I discovered some silhouette programs were popping up, which I presented in those. And go, that.
I know, big-headed, Johnny, big-headed.
And that was Delia and Rita and all of the great fun. But my God, the shoulder pads, darling, and outfits.
Dolly, we've got to wrap it up now.
Yes, okay.
And we thank you so much. We love you lots for coming on.
Thank
on
you.
Our final day of Women's Month, and I'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
But
thank you so much.
I've got a meeting tomorrow at 10. Okay, love you lot.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye.
We're going to have a little music break. We're going to talk. We're going to have single ladies, and we're going to come back with the divine Vicky Sampson and Sibongile Ngoma. Wrong mouse. I mustn't attach my mouse. I get confused between the two mouses. Okay, this is when we kill music.
Huh?
Kill the music.
What?
My humblest apologies. I got a little tongue-tied and a little finger. Too many mouses in the studio, and I hit the wrong button.
Mouses,
mice. But anyway, we're terribly sorry. But anyway, we're going to hopefully we've got Vicky and Sibongile standing by. But in the meantime, would you like to give us a bit of history on Vicky Sampson?
Well, I'm sure Vicky is like really, really well.
I didn't realize that Vicky had worked with so many luminaires of the music world.
So I mean, she was born with this magical voice, which you all love, and obviously behind My African Dream, which is the most big number. I'm sure she's also probably tired of it, but it inspired the nation and a continent when she went and performed it at the opening and closing ceremonies of the 96 African Cup of Nations football tournament that was hosted in South Africa. Song won her East Coast Radio's Best Song Award, NTVA Silver, and an international MIDM nomination for the music video. Has since become an unofficial anthem of the Rainbow Nation, speaking to the hopes and dreams of the people of South Africa and Africa. From her humble beginnings as a young girl growing up in the Cape Flats in the Western Cape, South Africa, Vicky has risen to international stardom, appearing in shows in Austria, England, Germany, Singapore, Sweden, Netherlands, USA. Yeah, she shared the stage with the likes of Shaka Attack, Al Jarreau, Tina Turner, Joe Cocker, Peter Bryson, George Benson, Grace Jones, Randy Crawford, Maxi Priest, Kool and the Gang, and the Stylistics. I mean, how's that for a little bit of a kind of a recognition and CV? But she's also made home front page news when she took the stage with former President Nelson Mandela and appeared in a special tribute show celebrating his 90th birthday of Madiba, with him as the main member of the audience. She also performed in 1999 for President Thabo Mbeki's inauguration, and
at his personal request, apparently.
Yes, his own, personal request. Undoubtedly, Thabo Mbeki, popularly dubbed as Mr. African Renaissance, is a big believer in the African dream, so eloquently expressed in this song. But she's also released 3 albums, and she's about to do an online streaming show, which is absolutely amazing, exciting and fantastic,
and it captures her life story, apparently. So we're going to ask her about that, and that goes live on the live stream on the 23rd of September. But obviously we'll ask Vicky to give us some contact deets and how to pay what, when, and all that kind of information. I saw suddenly that Miss Bongi is somewhere hiding in the studio. Hello, Miss Bongi. Are you there, darling? Oh, well, she's going around, and there she is. Hello, Sibongile. How are you, darling?
Kunjani.
Hello. Can you hear us, darling?
She's frozen.
Oh, she's in the Vrystaat. Okay, maybe I must do something. Hello, Miss Bongi. Can you hear me now, darling? Okay, well, we're having a little challenge there. I can see her picture's quite pixelated, so maybe we'll ask our darling producer Mornay to tell us, give us pearls of wisdom. In the meantime, while we're sorting that out, do you think we should play a song quickly? Let's have a look. What should we do? Bang bang. Hey?
Yeah.
Do you want a little bang bang, darling? Okay, let's go.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses' necks.
What? The mic is blurred.
So we're waiting to hook up with Bongi and with Vicky. Anyway, so wow, this looks promising. I think there comes Miss Vicky Sampson. Hello, darling. Hello.
Hey, Bongi.
How's it?
We all there.
Hello, Vicky. How are you, darling?
Hi, Trevor. I'm well, thanks, and you. Good evening, Mark. Hello, Sibongile.
Hey. Welcome
to, and hello, Miss Bongi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Okay, I'm great, thank you. We're very excited. Welcome to the Grumpy Old
Homo show.
Thank you for having us.
Hopefully you share this all over the show and say everybody's watching all over the world, right? Don't laugh. This happens a lot. Actually, we've live streamed the show to New York already.
Wow, I think that's amazing. Thank you, Trevor.
Okay. Miss Bongi, let's start with you, sweetheart. I found it to my shock just the other day that you've now migrated to the Vrystaat.
Yeah.
And I've told our audience that you're now the director of the university choir. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh, it's so amazing.
Thank you. I'm enjoying the Free State. It's quiet and
Yes.
the people are very friendly here. So I'm loving the Free State.
Yeah, great. And how long have you been there now, darling?
I moved here towards the end of October last year.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
almost not quite.
Oh, well, that's amazing.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought you were here still in Joburg.
And I must just say that Ms. Bongi was elected unopposed as the president of Arm for the Arts recently, and her advocacy has gone is widely spread in terms of standing up to the Ministry of SAC, as we call it.
Yeah.
Sorry, darling, but it's an unfortunate abbreviation.
Yeah.
Miss Vicky, darling, what's happening? Are you going there for your concert there on the 23rd of September?
Well, yes, unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, we decided to postpone. It's a relatively new medium, so I think
didn't you know your choreography?
I've got 2 left feet, Trevor. I've hated choreography from those corporates. Those well-loved corporates where they give you the box choreography. I remember that.
You must never do a box step ever. That's like 60.
Stay away from choreography.
Yeah.
The choreography makes me very confused, and I can't tell you, there's no way I can sing or play a piano when I'm going to do something with my feet. But actually coming up with the grumpy old homos, we did a flamenco dancing lesson. Well, I know.
Wow.
It was terrible. Yeah. I'm a flamenco queen, but he was, and if you saw the ballet, he can't do nothing other than sing, play piano, and cause cuck.
Anyway.
But Vicky, we were chatting now with Anne Williams, and I met you in Sun City. And we couldn't remember, it was after Miss South Africa, wasn't it? And I'm sure you sang African Dream, which I'm sure we need to talk about because I'm sure you're sick of that, aren't you?
No, I don't know why people think I'm sick of African Dream. I think no, it has been many years, but it's kind of my torch song. It's become my torch song, and it's become my inspiration to not just to myself, and the reason why I still continue trying and being where I am. I mean, today has been a specifically trying day, just on so many levels. I can be honest with you guys. I just feel at this stage of my life, it's time to be honest with myself and to stop pretending that things are okay when they're really not that okay. But be that as it may, African Dream still continues to do the work. So who am I to
resonates. I mean, every time you listen to it, it still makes you feel good. You know what I mean? It still has that power. It's one of those songs,
Yes, I'm very blessed about that. Thank you, Mark.
Bongi, tell me, darling, what large choral work are you working on right now, darling?
Sorry, what?
What large choral piece are you doing? Do you have a scheduled orchestral gig with the choir soon?
Oh, no. With the lockdown, there's nothing happening. We cannot meet. We cannot do any work. Because we're working with students, then it's also difficult to work online because they have data challenges. So it's not like a professional choir where maybe people are able to get their own data. With students, the challenges are real. And that's why they've been now asked to come back on campus because they've even been struggling with their lectures because of this issue with data.
I see. And Bongi, I mean, I've known you for many years. And you're always so beautiful and humble and gorgeous and divine and fantastic and all of those things. And then we saw the side of you that came out, which was phenomenal. I'm not allowed to swear on air. So it was phenomenal in terms of taking on the ministry because, Everybody was thinking everything, and no one was doing anything. And I think this for the arts is just been incredible. I haven't seen the feisty side of you,
No, but we've seen the heartful side of you,
Yeah.
and we're so proud of you. So you've gone where angels fear to tread, darling.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm struggling to hear. What did Mark say?
I was just saying that you are fantastic and beautiful, and I've never seen that feisty side of you, that just took on the arts ministry and has become a movement in itself.
Yeah, I guess even nice people like me can get tired of being nice about things that matter when people who have power don't do what they need to do. I mean, I wouldn't have been out here fighting if somebody had been doing their jobs and not make all of us poor and homeless.
Exactly. I mean, we kind of in the same situation, really.
Well, what gives us solace is that so many of us, and I think to a great extent, I would almost say 99% of us are all in the same boat right now. We're all waiting. I think there have been some very brave attempts to keep money flowing in, with online work. But yes, we've discussed this quite a bit with previous guests who are performers. There's nothing quite as dynamic as getting an immediate sense of love from an audience sitting right before you, and and having all those things. I think that are vitally important to being an artist. I think it's kind of why we do it. But the point is, at the end of the day, I mean, do you have any sort of inside Skinner about how what's happening, and I mean, let's talk about the relief funding. I mean, that's been a joke to a great extent, as far as I can understand, but I have no official stats. But I mean, I don't see many artists depending on, and I suppose it's also quite wrong to say we need to depend on the government. But when we have a social security system that is supposed to provide for us in these times of need, because you didn't have a contract, or because you don't have a tax clearance certificate, or there's 101 reasons why you can't draw against the UIF. So I mean, I'm shudder for the artists who are really living out in the rural areas, who depend on sponsorship or funding from the government to keep their projects alive. So maybe you want to give us a little bit of insight, Bongi. Do you have any extra Skinner we don't know?
No, I don't. I feel that the system that is in place at the moment is still not user-friendly, because essentially you're saying to people they have to apply for something that should be freely available because they didn't ask for a lockdown. A pandemic is something that nobody can control. And because of the nature of the pandemic, people shouldn't be asked to apply at the levels they've been to apply, ask for the documentation they're being asked for. And I can understand that, on a long-term basis, yes, you want people to be compliant and have their tax status intact and all that. But during a pandemic is really not the time. It's like that inappropriate relative that comes out at the wrong time saying the wrong things because they don't get it about timing. And I've explained this before, that a pandemic is like a war. Literally, you make sure that everybody is taken care of because they cannot do what they would normally do if there was no pandemic, to take care of themselves and their families. And right now, the government is just failing to understand that. We're not asking for handouts. We're asking for understanding. We need them to understand that because we can't go out to do what we would normally do, and it's not because we've asked to stop. They asked us to stop. In fact, they didn't ask us. They instructed us to stop. So people who could or tried to go out at some point were arrested and even murdered because they were being non-compliant to the rules and regulations of a lockdown. We have people who have died, and then you are still saying people should now apply for funding, whereas they cannot go out and work. If they do try and work, you will arrest them because now they're breaking the laws.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it was basically in the beginning, it was going to be 3 weeks. And now it's like, 6 months?
6 months. I absolutely, Trevor and Mark, I have to agree with what Sibongile is saying. It is actually at this point now outrageous that firstly, since the first wave, as they call it, of funding, without real proper consultation, firstly, addressing what is the real on the ground need of the people that have been serving this country via their talent and their abilities creatively. They then went ahead now again and are repeating that process. And I mean, I just went through the application form today because, I may be interim chairperson of the Trade Union for Musicians of South Africa, but as Bongi is saying, we have been absolutely stopped in our tracks from any form of live creative earning and income. And my SG was saying, Vix, you've got to apply for this. Why are you not doing it? It's like 6,600 Rand. And this was like last week because I wasn't going to do it. And then I decided on the weekend, maybe I should. So, I mean, because we've got a video on our website and everything. Gabby recorded a video explaining step by step the process to all our members, which is over 2,000, nearly 2,100 people nationally. So there I was today trying, because today being the final
last day,
last day again, thought let me give it a bash, but it was against something in my core. I can't even explain to you what it really was. But there my daughter was with me. And I'm telling you, it's not a joke. I was like, where the hell am I now supposed to run to the bank now to get 2 separate letters from them? Then I've got to get a letter, my ID certified, which I have because I needed this documentation a couple of weeks ago. And then there's the tax compliance thing. Fortunately, I have been a taxpayer since the 90s, so they have a record of me, and as someone actually very rightfully pointed out the other day, musicians have kind of been disregarded and discarded and just placed somewhere in a nowhere place. But we have been paying tax. We all pay VAT.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All pay everything. What is VAT?
Yeah, quite frankly, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I see something a little more sinister in this, I'm afraid. This is a systemic obfuscation on the government's part to juggle what little money is available and beat down the fires as opposed to just, solving the whole problem, I think. I mean, that's just my humble opinion. But I mean, I resigned from my position at the end of last year, not knowing what's going on, with a year's worth of work lined up ahead of me, and suddenly within 1 week it's been gone. And and then it was gone in a week, and in actual fact 4.5 days it took for me to lose my year's work. And you go into a moment of disbelief. You can't believe this has just happened. Then you just go into a first wave of panic. Then you drink the last bit of Dora in your house because you want to forget that the Sheila's coming your way. And then suddenly you have to start facing your reality. So you have to start throwing pieces towards the bank, and you gotta start making plans. How do you survive? And I can honestly tell you, if it wasn't for the fellowship of good friends and family, both of us would be, I don't know where we would be. You know what I mean? So
absolutely, Chip.
Yeah. So we feel the pain. We're with everybody. But I can't begin to say how proud we are for the 2 women who are spearheading a kickback process to the government. I mean, I think that is really, really the crux of the matter.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that acknowledgement. And I don't know how Bongi feels about this, but to be honest, a year or two, well, I've been kind of, this TUMSA has been in existence unofficially for the past 4 years, you know. We only formally registered in 2018, but we've been coming along literally since towards the middle of 2016 until now. But to be honest, if about a year and a half ago, somebody had said, Vicky, would you like to, this is it, yeah, handed it to me on a platter, interim chairperson of TUMSA, I'd have said, no way, dude, what the hell, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And still in my gut feeling, I know, that somebody had to do it. And here I am now in this position. But to be honest, I would not have chosen this for me at this point of our life, because at this stage of our lives, we're supposed to be doing things we enjoy, doing things that we're really passionate about. And yet this is my passion, because music and art and the protection of music and artists is my passion. But it's a very huge responsibility,
Somebody's beating on the doorbell. Anyway, sorry about that.
My doorbell rings. Sorry, guys.
No worries. And somebody's desperate to see you, Miss Vicky.
It's a job. It's a job.
Somebody knocking. Opportunity is knocking on the door. Anyway, sorry. We're allowed a little Mari. Okay, Bongi. So where to next with the movement, darling?
Or with your movement?
What's the next move for I'm for the Arts, darling?
Well, we're busy formalizing the movement now. So we're starting with the elections for the national, the rest of the national positions, because we started with the top 3, which is essentially the president, chairperson, and the vice chairperson, and then we started with the nominations for the provinces, and we've got our reps for Free State, Western Cape, Northwest, Gauteng, and what was the other one? Yeah, so we've got those ones. The rest we're still
5 out of 9.
Yeah, so we're still waiting to have representation from the other provinces. And now we are starting with the process of nominating for the rest of the NSC, which is the National Steering Committee. Then, now we're looking at having positions in the Secretariat. Other thing. Yeah, all the usual stuff, treasury, all that stuff that gets things done by people who are clever. I don't know these things. I'm just a soprano,
You're not just a soprano, darling.
We are formalizing the structure, and we are getting ourselves organized so that when we fight and we advocate for artists and creatives, we are not called a Facebook page, but we become an organization that is formidable and can actually stand its ground and have legal standing.
Well, we take our hat off, baby. Really, I mean.
Sorry, we do apologise. Some of the signal coming through from Bloemfontein is giving us a bit of bubble every now and again. But I think we've got the gist of that, in that, the provincial structures are now in the process of being formalised, and then the national executive and the steering committees are being formalised. So I think that's a step in the right direction.
Massive step, yeah.
Are you actually, this is a question that I'd like to know, are you going to actually register I'm for the Arts as a union as such? Because, not so long ago we had something called the Creative Workers Union. I wasn't quite sure what happened to that, because they made a big splash around the SABC, etc., etc.
No, it's not a union. It's a movement.
Oh, so it's going to be a political party, eh?
No.
I'm just joking.
No, we're not politics.
Yeah.
No, because then, you open yourself to all kinds of things. Politics. We're not doing politics. We just want to make sure that the industry works the way it should, and that people are looked after. And because the argument from everybody has been that this industry is not united. For the Arts has proven that it's actually not true. It's not as divided as everybody wants to make everybody else believe that it is. If we're as divided as everyone claims we are, can you imagine an event without all of us working together? It wouldn't work. You require a certain level of unity and harmony within the industry itself. So For the Arts has actually highlighted that we do work together and we do understand each other and we are in each other's spaces. So it's actually not an organization that is in competition with anybody else. It is just an organization that is there to just highlight the fact that we are one industry.
Yeah.
So, Bongi, we're going to wrap you up a little because we're having a tremendous time sometimes hearing everything you want to say, but I do want to see if we can get this answer through in that we are forming a professional body that isn't just for, like Saga is just for actors, but this is for everybody who works across all the fields of art.
Yes.
We thank you so much for coming, and thanks for that.
Thanks,
I'm
darling.
sorry, darling, we're having a bit of a signal
Connection.
issue with you, but we can say goodbye to you. We wish you well for the task ahead, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being a brave woman and standing up for those who are being disenfranchised by the government. And so we salute you, woman. Thank you so much.
Love you, darling.
Thank you, Bongi. God bless you, Bongs.
And then we're going to wrap up very soon with Miss Vicky. But please give us a little, we would now want to know the backstage skinner about this concert coming up. And tell us who's in the band and what's going on and how's it going to go down.
Well, Trevor, it's now moved to the 23rd of September, God willing. Which is the eve of Heritage Day.
That's a Sunday, I think.
And I have a lady.
You're going live on a Sunday night.
Pardon?
Hey?
Is that a Sunday now? I'm not sure. I haven't checked the day. My son has been behind all the shenanigans, to be honest. I'm just there to try and look my best and sound my best. So my musical director is a lady by the name of Celeste Williams. And I'm working with a relatively young band. I'm featuring a young drummer, a very good, amazing young drummer in my unit. I have some backing singers, and I will be performing all my own original material from all my albums through to a couple of new songs. If I do a cover, it's going to be very hard to choose. So hence I kind of stayed away from the covers, I'm thinking of one that I could do that would have the most impact. And in fact, the song that I would probably choose, which is very current, and I just love this woman, I love her artistry, is the song Rise by Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Yes, it says it all for me, it says it all for me. And I mean, earlier I was alluding to the fact that I actually had quite a horrible day. It's just been one of those days where emotionally and mentally and spiritually I've just been feeling so drained because with the Musicians Union we've been trying for the past 5 months to get relief for our 2,000 plus members, and we're now actually looking at a face off with the department and Minister Mtetwa across at the round table at Equality Court, so to try and get some relief there and to finally bring this thing to a close. So it's just been, I just feel at this moment in time, I'm not very fond of my position, and I just feel a bit battle weary, to be honest. It just feels like it's been going on forever, guys.
Yeah, I know the feeling too well. I had that. That's kind of one of the reasons why I retired as a registrar. It kind of feels like it's a battle that's just ongoing, that just doesn't seem to abate in any sort of way, and it just, sometimes it just feels like the situation is being exacerbated by added curveballs, coming your way. So
Absolutely.
But
And
Macy,
every day is a new curveball.
There's not,
Yeah.
us, with all due respect to all of us, some of us hide our egos well, but every now and again they snap out like a boomerang and they go, hey, who's it? And then we go, Nancy, we're not taking this anymore. We don't want to do this anyway, for Stanjay.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And kudos to you guys for also having created something, and because that's the amazing thing about it, it doesn't matter what this life has thrown at myself. I know I'm speaking from my personal experience, and I know that I'm speaking to you guys, that all the shit that life has thrown at us
Yeah.
at times, and we're still here shoveling it out of the way, as well as we can, and still picking up the pieces and still trying to be positive and inspire others. So that says a lot for us.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do every day is also, on the way here, Trevor said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been laughing.
Yeah.
Yes,
None of this that we do monetizes itself. We do it, but it's keeping us busy, and we are able to actually chat with incredible people like you and Bongi and Anne and everybody, and just let everyone know that we're all in that same position.
Yeah. No, I think
there's a great sense of camaraderie amongst all of us, I think. And as Bongi was saying, and I suppose the reason why she got so heartful is that, when the president announced the lockdown, well, everybody sat down to their TVs and watched entertainment and YouTubed and whatever the case. Facebooked themselves into a two-stunt if they weren't baking a bread or making pineapple beer.
No.
But the point is, I think, I think people lose sight of the fact that somebody, us, created all that stuff, and they, and we're the ones who are now out of pocket. So
out in the cold.
Out in the cold, and be left to wander in the wilderness, Doris.
Oh God, here we go. He's going to tell you that he nearly died twice as well.
Oh no, that's not fair. You brought that up. That's not fair. But now, so tell me, how long is this concert, and how do we get in to watch it?
And it's not on a Sunday. I checked. It's on a Wednesday night.
Oh well, bite me. I don't
know.
Oh
my gosh, bite me. Yeah, no, look, it's the 23rd of September, and the tickets are 80 Rand from Quicket, available at Quicket. Quicket, yes. I'm actually probably going to be working with somebody very soon on some other strategies and stuff, because I don't know, I suppose we all feel like that, man. We just miss a bloody audience, even if it's 20 people, live.
We want to have them in our face. We want to feel their kindred spirits, and then of course their rapturous applause.
Even a boo would be nice, just so that you know someone's sitting there. You know what I mean?
Boo, exactly. We don't care even if they boo. But yeah, God willing, I'm holding thumbs, as I'm sure.
Well, I will definitely be there watching. Yeah,
but thank you so much.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to give us the grumpy old home as a
comp.
A comp. How's this for soliciting on the air, dear?
Yeah. Otherwise, we still got shows before.
I see the colourful feather boa there on your pictures. Fabulous.
Yeah. Thank you.
You can give it to me as a backdrop for my show.
I'll come and dance as a backup dancer. How's that?
There's a good idea.
I could do the splits, but only once at the end, and then the curtains come in because I can't get up.
Because then you're going to bring out the rollator. And 2 butch numbers to pick him up off the floor.
The plan sickens. Yeah, I know.
He does prefer the stage hands, I must be honest.
The
big butch stage hands.
Greasy,
Well, guys, thank you, Trevor and Mark. Thank you so much for your interest. And God willing, when I'm up there in Joburg soon, I'll come to the studio live. for a
Yeah, that
change.
would be fantastic.
When we allowed people
Thank
here.
you for the ad. I see there,
Yeah.
view Vicky
Yeah.
Sampson's concert. Quiet,
Yeah,
guys.
sure.
Thank you, man.
And then listen, darling. Yeah, so I will post. Send us the updated poster of the concert, because I know you had one up, but it had the wrong date on, so I can't post that one.
Yes.
So send us
Yes.
the amended one, and we'll post it on our Facebook page, the Grumpy page, and
Yes.
obviously we'll copy it to all our friends on our personal pages
Yeah.
on Facebook as well. So yeah,
Thank you.
I wish you to break a leg, chookus, and have a
Chookas.
wonderful time with your concert, even though you're doing it to a studio audience. Hopefully your band is live with you at the time, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're live. Yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, I saw the
Uncompromising on that.
most amazing insert you did for Waiting in the Wings, which we've also
Thank you.
interacted with. It was so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so we look forward to your
Thank
concert.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We love you lots.
Yes,
Yes.
darling.
Big
God
loves.
bless you.
Big loves.
Love you too,
Okay.
guys. Lots of
Ciao.
love.
Cheers,
Bye.
baby.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
So I think in honor of our three wonderful ladies, let's play them Tina Turner's Proud Mary. How's that?
Yeah, but click it, Dad.
I'm going to click it, darling. Oh, baby. You go, girl.
What's unmuted? Can
Oh.
they hear us now? Oh, God.
Oh, they're hoying, eh? Hoying.
Huh?
They're hoying.
Kill rolling on the river. Go.
Well, that was Mary, Proud Mary.
Yeah, Proud Mary.
In honor of a fabulous guest this evening, and we thank you, Anne Williams and Sibongile Ngoma and our fabulous Vicky Sampson for joining us on the last day of Women's Month celebrations on
2020
on ilovemelbourne.live. So
on the Grumpy Old Homo Show.
So we're going to say good night to you.
Yeah, but before we do, I just want to tell you something.
Always do this.
Yeah, no.
Huh?
So, do you know that lightning can absolutely strike the same place twice? I wish it had struck me once, but anyhow, the Empire State Building gets hit about 25 times a year.
Well, I mean, blow me over. I mean, really, hit me with a snook. I mean,
hit me with a rhythm stick. Hit me. That's all I want. Yeah.
We love you lots. We'll be back on, where are we at? On Thursday. What are we doing on Thursday, Mark?
I don't know. We've got a whole lot of stuff.
We've got a whole lot of stuff coming. We're going to start getting local again, very local. And when I say local, we're going into the Melville and Western hoods, and we're going to start featuring some boutique businesses that are operating, also under austere circumstances, but still running on.
Yeah.
So when we come back next week, this week on Thursday, we're going to be talking to Kathleen Wolmerantz, who runs Life Equals Life. What lemons plus Life equals lemonade. And we're going to be talking to the very amazing Ernest Corky from Buckyami.
Yeah. And I'm going to be talking
Buckyami.
Buckyami. I don't know. It's French or Spanish or Italian.
Italian. And then we're going to be talking to them and finding out how they've had to adopt their usual business.
Adopt or adapt? Adapt.
Hi, give me a break.
And I'm going to be talking from Durban.
And you're going to be talking from Durban.
Yeah.
Because Mark's going off to do a mercy run.
Mercy run with my mother.
His elderly mum. And so we'll be hooking up with... so I'm going... What are you saying? I'm going to be solo in the studio next week.
Oh, God. Here we go.
I think I need to get myself a grumpy guest. Hey, somebody.
Oh, here goes my job. Okay.
We love you lots. We're going to say goodbye.
Take care.
We'll speak to you.
I'm sorry about all the connections, but that's how it is.
I'm apologetic. I'm so sorry, man.
Sorry. Yeah, it's
true.
Love you lots. Bye.
Bye.
Do 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 do.